Chapter 15. Ancestral Ties. The forest grew quieter as they moved deeper into its heart, the air heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth. Ava trailed behind Xander and Seth, her gaze drawn to the tome in her hands. Its glyphs pulsed faintly, their light casting soft patterns on the ground as if urging her forward. Each step felt like a step closer to something monumental, though the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on her shoulders. They stopped at a small clearing where a jagged rock jutted from the earth like a blade. Seth turned to Ava, his green eyes sharp but not unkind. "This is it," he said, "the place where your lineage began." Ava looked around, her heart quickening. The clearing felt different, as though the very air here vibrated with ancient power. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Seth gestured to the rock. "The Silver Den. This isn't just any sacred site. It's where the first silver wolf made the pact to protect the balance of light and darkness." Ava stepped closer to the stone, her fingers brushing against its cold, rough surface. The tome grew warmer in her hands, its glyphs glowing brighter. Visions flashed in her mind, a wolf cloaked in silver light standing against a tide of shadows, its eyes filled with fierce determination. The image shifted to a human figure, their hand outstretched as they sealed the pact with ancient glowing runes. "This is where it all started," she murmured, her voice trembling. "The prophecy, it's tied to this place." Xander approached her, his golden eyes scanning the rock. "The Silver Den has always been a place of power, but it's also dangerous. The darkness knows what this place means. It will try to destroy it if it hasn't already." Seth nodded. "That's why we need to act quickly. The answers we seek are here, but they're not without cost." Ava turned to him, her brow furrowing. "What kind of cost?" Seth hesitated, his gaze flickering to the tome. "The Silver Den is connected to your bloodline, Ava. To fully unlock its secrets, you'll need to open yourself to it, completely. That means facing what it shows you, no matter how painful or frightening." Xander's jaw tightened. "Is that really necessary? She's been through enough already." "The darkness won't wait for her to be ready," Seth replied, his tone firm but not harsh. "This is the only way to understand what she's truly capable of." Ava swallowed hard, her fingers curling around the tome. The visions had already begun to stir something deep within her, a connection to a legacy she hadn't asked for but couldn't deny. She looked at Xander, his protective gaze grounding her, then back at Seth, whose resolve mirrored her own. "I'll do it," she said, her voice steady despite the fear coiling in her chest. "Whatever it takes, I'll face it." The ritual began as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the clearing in hues of orange and gold. Ava stood at the base of the stone, the tome open in her hands. Seth guided her through the ancient incantations, his voice low and melodic as he chanted alongside her. The air grew colder, and the glyphs on the tome flared to life, their light intertwining with the runes carved into the rock. A sudden gust of wind whipped through the clearing, carrying with it whispers that sent shivers down Ava's spine. She closed her eyes, focusing on the words flowing from her lips. The ground beneath her feet trembled, and when she opened her eyes the world had shifted. The clearing was gone. In its place stood an ethereal forest, bathed in silver light. Wolves moved silently among the trees, their forms ghostly but powerful. In the center of it all stood a woman cloaked in silver, her presence both commanding and serene. "Ava," the woman said, her voice resonating like a melody, "you have come far, but the journey ahead is longer still. Do you understand the weight of your role?" Ava swallowed, her throat dry. I think so, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to carry it." The woman's gaze softened. "Strength is not born. It is forged. The light within you is powerful, but it must be balanced with your humanity. Only then can you stand against the darkness." The wolves around them howled in unison, their voices blending into a single haunting chorus. The woman stepped closer, placing a hand on Ava's shoulder. "You are not alone in this. Remember that." The vision began to fade, the silver light dimming as the whispers grew quieter. When Ava opened her eyes, she was back in the clearing, the tome's glow fading to a faint shimmer. Seth and Xander were at her side in an instant. Xander's hands steadied her as she swayed, exhaustion washing over her like a tide. "What happened?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. Ava looked at him, then at Seth, her expression resolute despite the tears glistening in her eyes. "I saw them, the ones who came before me. They showed me what I have to do." Seth's gaze was steady. "And are you ready?" Ava straightened, the weight of her destiny no longer a burden but a purpose. "I don't have a choice. I have to be."